I think it's time to win the big trophies. I think it's time to win the Premier League. I think it's time to win the Champions League. It's long overdue, in my opinion. And
Hello, guys. Welcome to the FootyWit Football Talk Show. As I was about putting on my glasses. It's good to have you guys on the episode today. My name is Ahis Anthony. It's been a good week and a fruitful week. We thank God for life. We thank God that we're here and we're good to be back on the show. Okay, Daniel, how you guys doing? Hope you're well.
Very well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be on the FootyWit podcast. Had a productive week as well, and it's a pleasure to be on this platform once again.
Yeah, same here as well. He's happy to be back. It's been a minute, and just cracking to get going.
We saw what happened in the friendly match against Tottenham Hotspur. Then after that, the Villarreal friendly match preceded it. It was a back-to-back losing. We went back-to-back losing those games. Even in my own opinion, I knew Arteta was trying to try out, players and also tactics and formations. But recency bias, we defeated Atletico Bilbao yesterday at the Emirates Cup 3-0. Arteta's tactics, do you think it was eminent he did that in yesterday's game?
I'll start by saying this. I'll start by quoting the Athletic Bilbao coach, Ernesto Valverde. And he said that, look, they didn't expect the level of quality that they faced against Arsenal. He said, look, they faced Liverpool earlier. I think that was probably their last preseason game before facing Arsenal. He said it was a good test, but against Arsenal, he said the level was totally different because Arsenal was totally in control. And I think that, the tactical tweak for me makes a lot of sense. Not only is the team controlling the ball better, controlling the game better, but creating those opportunities for the forwards to be able to score goals. For me, I think that's the most important thing. And then what I like about the tactical tweak is that someone like Zubimendi is given the license to drop as deep as he wants and to move up as he pleases. But the reason why he's able to do that is because of Declan Rice. And I think Arsenal are going to really benefit a lot from that duo for me because they made things tick a lot. And most importantly, for the first time in since probably like the 2022-23 season, I think Arsenal have a proper gunman of a striker. Talking about GYÖKERES. If you take a look at the goal, for me, it's all about his movement. Brilliant finish, don't get me wrong. But the movement for me was the most important thing. And that's where you know that, look, this is a striker that is hungry for goals and he knows how to score goals. I could also see signs of good link-up play, between Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli and Gyokeres himself.
On the preseason, to be honest, I would say the preseason has not been so good. I won't get deceived by yesterday at all. I watched the game against Tottenham, the game against Villarreal, and I have not been very impressed with a good number of players in the team. Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, and let's say Ben White, because I expect more from Ben. He's an experienced player and he has showed that he has some quality. But I've not been so impressed with the preseason. Yesterday was just a glimpse of hope, honestly, to Arsenal fans, because I'm going by the Villarreal and Tottenham match. I was just like, oh my God, are we in another bubble, of almost there? Are we going to try again? Do we need to get some players in? But yesterday, I would say Athletic Bilbao are not so strong. Honestly, they're not so good from what I saw yesterday, and we shouldn't get carried away by the fact that we still have some work to do. If you look at although Martinelli was better yesterday, we still have some work to do on the left wing in terms of creativity. Because if you look at the goals we scored, we are doing the same thing over and over again, crossing the ball. That's why I don't understand Madueke signing. He can bring something different to the team, but still crossing the ball, still crossing. Although we had the glimpse of directness yesterday when Odegaard laid it forward for Martinelli, then that let Saka go. Yeah, but I feel we need to do something differently apart from crossing the ball. We need to be able to play intricate football, move the ball in between the lines, fast on the break, and utilize our chances. I was super impressed by Zubimendi yesterday. Zubimendi showed absolute class on the ball, defensively as well, even though he had a small frame. Class on the ball, his passing, his choice of passes. And if you notice, he passes the ball forward every single time. There's only a few occasions that it passes back to maybe Saliba or Raya, but most of the time it's passing directly to the front, and that's what we need. Urgency to our game, it brings that, and the double pivot to rises, I feel would go a long way with that, especially in Champions League, because in Champions League you also have your base strong. So the rise Zubimendi pivot will go a long way for us. And it's amazing. And Muslera, to be honest, I was blown away by him yesterday. His positioning, he plays like he has been with us for years, really. Suiting a right back, right centre back, and left centre back. Really, really good. And it's quite quick as well. And I'm sure we have a good defense line now. If Calafiori can stay fit, because Calafiori brings urgency to Arsenal, thinking forward. These intricate passes he makes as well, confusing defenders. I think we have a good defense now. I want us to just work a bit more on our left wing and creativity as well, and that's another gap. So, yeah, good one from Arsenal.
Okay, quick. I just want to touch on what yourself and Okwe mentioned. So I'm going to stick to the positives, right? The positive yesterday was I saw the willingness in Arteta, to change a bit of tactics, play according to the strength of the personnel you have. We've not been used to having a proper nine. The last time Arsenal had any proper nine was how many years ago? Andre Lacazette and Aubameyang. Havertz, with all due respect, it's not a proper nine, despite the fact that he has filled in that position for 2 seasons and he has played well, given in his own positivity or added value to the team. But that has not taken us over the line. So therein, we brought in a Victor Gyokeres with his, with his record in Europe, being one of the most informed strikers as we speak. We agree to that. That's a fact. It's not an opinion. But I love the fact that Arteta decided, to tweak his tactics to play according to the strength of, Victor Gyokeres. We didn't see that against Villarreal, but we saw that against Atletico Bilbao. And also, we saw our left-hand side get reenacted again, came alive with the likes of the stallion in Calafiori. He's bombing forward, no inverting into the midfield, but it was just bombing forward on the left-hand flank. And we saw Martinelli come alive because Martinelli at that point had someone who could play alongside with. And we also saw Victor Gyokeres drifting to the left-hand side. So that gave the opponent a bit of, things to think about, that, okay, even if we recognize the fact that Bukayo Saka is a dangerous player, his combination play with Havertz, his combination play with Ben White and Odegaard is one to, be careful of. There's something brewing on that left side. And like Okwe said, if only Calafiori can stay fit, could we see these Arteta tactics, bringing us back or taking us back to where we are where we were in 2022, let's say 2022, 2023 season, whereby we're blistering teams?
Yeah, I think it's good because one thing about having a fully fit squad is the ability to be able to tinker, the ability to be able to adapt to different opposition, the ability to be able to prepare for different opposition. And, everyone knows Arteta is an intelligent manager. He's tactically up there, when we're talking about managers in world football at the moment. So it gives him the ability to be able to find different ways to hurt teams, which is what you want Arsenal to do. I think this team still lacks dynamism. And this team lacking dynamism, what I mean is that this team lacks players that, for me, have that X factor. Players that can make something happen out of nothing. And I think this Arsenal team currently lacks that. Hopefully, Arsenal can also go ahead and get another left winger. I don't know who it's going to be, whether it's going to be Rodrigo, whether it's Rafa Leao, whether it's Ademola Lookman, I don't know. But I think 2 more additions are genuinely needed because we lack players that have that X factor. So for me, what we have is good. It can take us to a certain level in the season. But I think it's time to win the big trophies. I think it's time to win the Premier League. I think it's time to win the Champions League. It's long overdue, in my opinion. And I think just adding one of those 2 players, for me, 2 players that have what I call the X factor, I think I can then be confident and say that, Arsenal will be gunning for a Premier League title or a Champions League title.
Proposal. Your take. Yeah.
So someone like Zubimendi, brings a lot of difference into our gameplay. The fast breaks, you know, quick passes, that kind of stuff. And you will see that against Villarreal, we couldn't do that with Nogard. So that clearly shows that Nogard is more of to me is the mop up guy for us. You can play him with a Zubimendi and maybe a Rice if you have to get that proper depth in your midfield and maybe soak up possession and all that. You understand? But having Zubimendi, having Rice play with him, box to box, having Odegaard, either it's Odegaard, either it's Waneri for some games. Eze, like we've said, is very, very important to us. We need that kind of player that is good on the ball and with tight spaces. He's a king. I would say that because I've seen him move within tight, even against us in the Premier League couple of games before. He moves well with tight spaces and he can drop those passes quickly for the striker we have. We have someone that is a runner. We have someone that doesn't how do you say it now? If he doesn't get the ball, he likes to get into the wing, and we've seen that already in his style of play. So I feel that what we need to do is, like we've always mentioned, go back to our attacking style of football. One third passes in the final third. Odegaard, trying to get the strikers immediately. If we can play like that, trust me, I will be able to beat my chest and say, once we have goals coming in from our striker, the league is not going to be a problem. All we just need to do is focus on that kind of style. Like Daniel said against Nottingham Forest, the coach was actually saying something like, we play with 10 men because our striker is not, we're just playing without a striker. And even Havertz this season, thankfully, he has gotten buffed up a bit. He's got a bit of pace, So I feel that, not having Havertz also play too many games would help him, to be honest. He can come in from the bench and see.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't even need to bench Gyokeres. He can always play as a supporting striker to Gyokeres. That's how good Havertz can be. You can play him behind the striker. He knows how to drop those passes. We've seen him do it for Germany a lot of times. We also actually need to get that left wing sorted out. I saw something, one of the accounts we follow on Twitter, we all know the accounts, saying something about Rafael, agreeing that's not 10, but they've not started up the club. I hope we can get someone like that. The only problem I have with him is defensive duties. Is he capable of these track backs that we need? We don't want someone that just loses possession and decides to scroll back. No. So if that's the case, and Eze would do well on the left and at the middle. So if we have an Eze and we're not able to sign another left winger, I have no problem. Trust me. Rodrigo, his bills are too much at the moment. I don't really see. I think Madrid wants us to pay 100% of his wages. That's crazy. It's a loan. We're not trying to buy him. Ademola Lookman too can be someone that would, be good for us because we know what he can bring to the table.
So I'll use the opportunity to segue into the GYÖKERES discussion, right? A few weeks, 8 weeks prior to now, or 12 weeks prior to this day, we would have thought Sesko will be coming into Arsenal and GYÖKERES will be going the other way to Manchester United due to the relationship between he had with his former boss and the current manager of Manchester United, Amorim. And now, the plot twist is we have GYÖKERES, Manchester United have Sesko. Yes, we know Sesko might not be fit enough to play the first game, but so here it comes. Here comes with it the pressure wearing the number 14 jersey, with all the statements. So he's meant to not only talk the talk, but also walk the walk. The season starts next week, 6 days from now, or 7 days from now, we'll be playing Manchester United. Do you guys feel it needs to be eased into the Premier League? Yes, we would say the clubs who've played in the preseason, Atletico Bilbao, Villarreal, they're not the Premier League. We saw him, he played against Tottenham, the low blocks, he struggled. Even if we know then he wasn't that, fit. Now, the pressure starts on the 17th of August. Do you guys think GYÖKERES is ready to go? Okay.
Fitness-wise, I don't think he's ready. He looked a whole lot more better against Bilbao. His movements were much better. He was more fluid. The graft from him, you could see him working hard, dropping in, especially when it was time to press. And I think he generally just worked harder, against Bilbao yesterday. I genuinely do think that Kai Havertz is going to be the man to start against Manchester United. And yeah, I actually do think Gyökeres should be eased into the team.
That's an unpopular opinion in the Arsenal
Yeah,
fan base.
true, but based on fitness levels, Havertz has had a longer uh, preseason, longer preparation as compared to Gyökeres. Let's not forget that Havertz, had like proper rehab after his injury. So Havertz has been prepared, to start this season. And look, he's looking pretty sharp, um, looking bulkier up in terms of his upper body, and looks faster. I mean, I know Havertz is not like the fastest player, but I mean that counter attack yesterday, I really haven't seen that burst of speed from Havertz before. And don't be surprised if against United you see Kai Havertz starting and Gyökeres, having a good second half performance.
Okwe's opinion is valid to an extent. From a footballing angle, I get what he's saying. You don't want to overwork him, within the first few matches. But to be honest, I would need Gyökeres to start because I need to see that fear in the United defense. If they know if he's starting, they're on their toes from the first minutes, and we don't want situations like getting chances and not converting them, and you start hearing story like, so if it was Gyökeres there, he would have scored it. So I rather want us to start on the strong foot, your best 11 first. When you are going away to Old Trafford, you don't want stories, you don't want funny excuses in the first half, and then maybe you're trailing and you now have to put him in maybe 50 something minutes, and pressure is on him to score the equalizer or something. So I rather want us to start with him. Zubimendi, play everyone you feel okay, this is my first 11, this is my best 11. Start with that because man, the season is going to be long. You can see how everyone is recruiting, even down to Sunderland. We have no time to say we're trying to
Experiment.
anything. Yeah. So even if he starts the game and he scores 2 goals within 70 minutes for us, take him out and maybe from the 70th minute play Havertz. I have no problem. He has done his job, and that will even be like a better position for us. You understand? I would need him to start actually, because I wouldn't want to see that mental breakdown from Arsenal fans too. It's going to be something else.
Because an hour 15 minutes going into the first game of the season and you see Havertz starting, woof, it's going to be another meltdown. I assure you that. And possibly Arteta out could be trending again. For the fact that we bought Gyökeres to come and solve.
So to be honest, he's the better striker all in all out. You don't have anyone better than him. So if you are trying to form, you want to bench him, and you may be valid, but the only time it will work out for him is if we get like maybe 1 or 2 goals in the first half, or we're leading in the first half, and in the 60th minutes you bring him on with the 1 goal lead, and maybe he scores one more for us and all that. But when you want to take that kind of risk and then you fall short, you can't explain anything. It's the first game of the season. You don't want that kind of vibe. You don't want that kind of stress on yourself.